Hello, everyone. Stefan here from Loncom Consulting in another partnership chat over here. So we have a very exciting new partner, which is Profit-Driven Marketing. And I brought from Profit-Driven Marketing, Theo here. So Theo, please introduce yourself and PDM.
For sure. So as you rightly said, my name is Theo Clarke and I'm here from Profit-Driven Marketing. In short, we're a data-driven agency focused around profit, hence the name. And we serve e-commerce businesses that could be direct consumer sales, but also for lead generation services as well.
Cool. Now, I appreciate that, Theo. Thank you very much for that intro. I think what I always, when we talk about, e-commerce and marketing and so on, none of us, I think, dream to kind of be in e-commerce. There is not a university degree to get us there. Yes, there is some digital marketing degrees out there and it's getting more and more education and things like that. But I'm interested, did you dream of being a digital marketer when you were a kid? And was that the dream? Or was the journey that led you to PDM?
I don't know. I'd be very surprised if anyone is dreaming of becoming an e-commerce or digital marketer. Maybe they are. I don't know. I think the typical trajectory is a footballer, astronaut, I don't know, something along those lines. So I definitely wasn't dreaming about being an e-com. But now being here, I wouldn't choose to be anywhere else. So there you go. I guess that's a nice way to frame it. I think, did you want to know kind of how I got to here? Or was it
absolutely. I think I know that you have a very interesting story, running your own kind of e-commerce brands and so on. So definitely tell us a little bit more about that.
For sure. I think it was more chasing financial freedom and location freedom. That was what drove me into e-com, because I was aware that you could make money from, your laptop, which up until sort of 2020, when I was 23, I wasn't really aware of. So that exposed me to a new world. I got involved in high ticket dropshipping after purchasing a course on how to build a high ticket dropshipping store. After a while, I managed to get the store to a point where it was generating consistent revenue, making profit and doing pretty well. And I was scaling it via Google Ads. So that's where the overlap comes in. The course that I'd purchased to get into high ticket dropshipping were looking for coaches to help other students also scale their businesses. So I applied to become a digital marketing mentor for them, which I actually still do today. It's almost been 3 years now. And what I noticed was a lot of the businesses or e-com businesses struggled with scaling. They had a good product at its core. They were able to bring the product essentially to market, but they didn't know how to market the product. That's where I came in with Google Ads or Meta Ads, and realized that, okay, there's a real demand here. People really struggle with getting their products out to market. Something I'd got pretty good at and been able to do it successfully with my business. Met my business partner, Joe, who was a CMO at a global marketing agency called SV Media. And then, just got to the point where we said, look, there's a lot of people that need Google Ads. Why don't we go into business together and start a Google advertising agency? So that's how we got into PDM. So maybe I wasn't dreaming of e-com, but I was dreaming of the outcome of what e-com can provide, right? Which is, if you get it right, financial freedom, location freedom.
Yeah, I think all of us have that kind of journey, either trying on our own and then moving to, let's call it the dark side, which is the agency side, rather than being on the retailers and things like that. So no, I think absolutely fascinating. How do you find currently, working with Joe? Is it different skill sets that you two are currently, being co-founders? I can imagine it's quite rewarding, but also difficult at the same time, understanding each other, probably different mindsets. Or tell me a bit more about how do you two kind of work together and how is it going so far?
You know what? I'd say most of the time we work in harmony. I understand by this point, having worked together for 2 years and 7 months, we launched the agency in November 2021. He very much knows what he's good at. I very much know what I'm good at. We collaborate in the middle when it comes to strategizing and growing the business. But more often than not, really what we'll try and do is, look, this is what you need to do. This is what I need to do. And we'll both go away and just have regular calls and update each other. So yes, there are troubling times. It can be difficult. Normally we're in alignment on practically everything. So as long as we're both working towards a common goal and we're aware of what that goal is, it's easy enough to kind of segment off, I'm doing this, you're doing that. And then we just kind of make sure that we're both on the right track. So it's not easy. Running an agency can be difficult, especially when there's distance in between the two of you or you're working remote, but you just got to do what you can to make it work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I'm always interested to hear kind of with co-founders, how does that blend work together? Because I started Loncom on my own and I felt quite lonely until the team came in. Thankfully, there is a team, but you cannot really share some of those kind of founder struggles and, management struggles with the rest of the team. You always try to be so positive and things like that. I also saw on LinkedIn, I think last year, that you and Joe went somewhere away, like rented a place for the weekend and just kind of chat to the future of PDM. Do you find like things like that, moving away, just being you two? I know that he was in Dubai to visit you. By the way, Theo is based in Dubai, not in the rainy UK, so he's enjoying all the heat right now. But yeah, did you find things like that, like meetups, when you have to kind of go away from the business and talk really about growth, useful? And what is the kind of the best thing that you get out of meetups like that?
It's extremely important, because it's very easy when you're working remote to forget about the relationship that you have outside of work. If everything is always so focused around work, sometimes as co-founders, you can forget about how the other person is feeling, things that they're experiencing outside of work, especially if you're two, very like-minded individuals who are very much geared towards growth. It's really important to actually take that time to meet up together, to reflect, to look back on how far you've come and realign on the purpose and the goal that you're trying to achieve. So absolutely, there are things that, things like this are great, right? We're connecting. I'm in Dubai, you're in the UK, in Nottingham, I believe. We're connecting from two completely different locations, and yet we're able to communicate. But the one thing that this doesn't provide is that personal touch and feel to it. It's very, very different being in a room sat with someone spending a whole weekend together to a quick hour on a Zoom call. So that is the missing touch. And you end up talking about things that you wouldn't otherwise discuss on a call. Otherwise, it's very much just work all the time when we're on Zoom calls, I don't know if you experienced the same, but
no, I fully agree. I think it's so my team is remote also. We fully work remotely. The operational team is based back home in Croatia, some of them also in Serbia, and there's definitely a difference in being with them and being into the room. There's always that short question. You can't jump on a Zoom call for 2 minutes, nobody's going to do that, of course. But if you're in the office and that kind of vibe, you need to replicate it in any way. And that's, I think, the challenge of working remotely, but it also brings a lot of benefits. That's I think what we're all trying to get, that as you mentioned at the beginning, the freedom of location, the freedom, the money freedom, and so on. That remote work definitely that does help on that side. Coming back to the PDM, and I just love you guys. I love how you're doing. I love how you kind of growing the business. I love what you're doing with the clients, the way that you set up and the way the team is kind of built around it. What I'm interested from the kind of entrepreneurship business side of things, which are the challenges that you're currently facing? What is the thing that kind of wakes you up in the middle of the night saying, oh, maybe I can solve it, and things like that? What is the thing that keeps you awake? Because I know that all our entrepreneurs always try to, problem solve. So what's currently the challenge you're facing?
There's always something. What's keeping me up today, wasn't keeping me up 2 weeks ago. That's the game. There's so many different variables. So something we're really focusing on at the moment is just building a consistent lead flow and a consistent pipeline. Okay, so that could be things like partnerships. At the moment, we're working very much on creating a VSL, setting up a funnel, optimizing it, and running our own paid ads and things like that. So I think what we've done in the past and made the mistake of is gone, we're getting loads of referrals. This is great. And then all of a sudden the referrals slow down. We've built the team up to now withstand the capacity in which the referrals were coming in, and then all of a sudden, we're not getting as many referrals these months as we were the months prior. And now we've stopped focusing on our other acquisition channels. Now we need to get paid ads up and running. So we made the mistake of not having something running in the background consistently to keep business rolling in. So we'd have a peak and then a drop and then a peak and then a drop, and it's not sustainable. So we made that mistake, and now we're ensuring that we always have constant lead flow in the background, utilizing multiple different channels and are not just reliant on one. So that's something we're focusing on right now.
Yeah, I think diversification is always a big thing when you try to, the multiple sales channel are always better than one. That's why we're having, BDRs and partnership programs and various other kind of networking, event sponsorships and so on. You're just trying to, maximize those channels, but also get that steady. I just love it. Absolutely. Okay. And then on the kind of the PDM and the service that you offer, I know quite a lot about it, but I'm sure that somebody listening to it is quite new it. What is, you say you do PPC, you do meta ads, you do Google ads. and there's tons of agencies out there, right, that do that. So why would somebody go with PDM, and what's kind of your unique selling points? What's that one thing that you really bring to the table that is going to make a difference to that business, to that e-commerce brands? What is it?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'd say the unique selling propositions that we bring to the table start before we've even onboarded a client, where we'll actually audit their business and their advertising account, their back-end processes upfront for free. And it is a bespoke, very comprehensive audit where if they truly wanted to, they could take that away and implement them themselves and get the same result. So we provide the value up front in that we don't just take someone on for the sake of taking them on. It's like, okay, provide us with access to the advertising accounts, view only access is fine. We're going to actually have a look and see what's under the hood, truly understand what you're doing at the moment, highlight all of the opportunities for growth for you that we will see and implement it for you if you were to onboard with us. And then this is what the next 3 months will look like if you do proceed. So there's no pay me 5K to have a look at it. And then once you get the foot in the door, it's like, hand it down to a junior, mediocre results. Me and my business partner, Joe, both top level, will strategize on the business before we've even given them a quote, And when it comes to quoting as well, we always like to work on a performance only basis, which means we just charge a percentage of the revenue attributed to our campaigns. We can't always implement that scenario, unfortunately, because we have to be selective with who we take on to do that. If people don't have much advertising data, if they're spending very little, when I say very little, some people will come along and they're spending maybe 2.5K a month, pounds, and there's just not much data there. There's not a huge amount to work with. So what we'll end up doing is taking them on a 90-day basis at a fixed cost and then transition them over to a performance model at that point after the 90 days, if it makes sense to do so. By that point, we've scaled their ad spend and obviously their revenue and their ROI. So there's a couple of unique things there, in my opinion, that we're doing that separates us from the rest. That would be what I would say top level.
Yeah, I think from my side, I think straight away when we got chatting, more than a year ago now, I think what was very interesting for me was that kind of, let's call it commission-based, payments. In a way, I like it because you can then say, let me prove you what we can do, and then how much you're earning, we are also earning at the same time. So I really love that. And I think another thing that I know that especially Joe and yourself, you're big on data. And of course, us as being data analysis company, okay, on the operational side, not touching the marketing, that straight away appealed to me, because I know that there is a lot of marketing agencies out there that just do it for the sake of doing it and just, get the content of that product and push it out there. But you really dig deep into data. Is there like any examples that you can give on kind of digging deep into the data and bringing results to the business?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of again, I guess this is maybe in some ways a USP, right? I can't speak on all agencies, but I can speak on the businesses that we have audited and the way things have been done by other agencies. What we've noticed, and there's one particular example I'm referencing here, is there was a particular account where they were spending £10,000 a month on Google Ads, and they had done for the past 8 or 9 years, something like that. They were using Google Ads as their primary channel to generate leads for their business and passing leads through to the CRM. But in Google Ads, they had next to no tracking or attribution, okay? Multiple different campaigns, all had hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of advertising data, but they were essentially taking a stab in the dark. They didn't know what campaigns were generating the leads, more importantly, which ones are generating the highest quality leads. But they just left it there because they were like, well, I think these terms are all relevant to my business. The leads are coming in and that's our primary channel. So let's just keep it running. But what we did was initially came in and we said, okay, well, what you need to do is start passing data from Google Ads through to your CRM. You need to set up accurate tracking and attribution so that we can actually start to see what campaigns, ad groups and search terms are actually generating leads. And then not just leads, we need to pass that through to the CRM, update the lead source in the CRM so we can see what's coming from Google Ads, but also then start to attribute relevant attributes to that as to whether or not it was qualified, whether or not it led to a viewing or a booked deal or closed deal, and most importantly, what the closed deal value was. And then we can pass the revenue data back to Google Ads and start to optimize based on revenue as opposed to just lead volume. Two very different things. A lot of agencies will take it up to the point where, yeah, look, I'm generating you loads of leads. Yeah, but they're not interested in whether or not they're high quality or they're converting. And then what happens is the business owner ends up saying, well, you're generating me leads, but I can't see the added benefit of it. And then they end up stopping Google Ads, thinking the Google Ads don't work. But there's a missing piece in that, which is data attribution.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I think, look, we work with marketing people, so on, and all of them are always kind of keen on showing the metrics, whether that's, email opens or email clicks or deliverability, or from the ad side, they're always talking about the things. Oh, we brought you this many impressions and this many likes and so on and so on. And I think that's a huge problem out there, because if that is not resulting in money, like why are we even talking about it? So I absolutely love that approach. And I think to kind of go into the partnership chat and so on, that's the reason why we, I think, partnered up, because we worked on a client together. We know how it is good, especially in our analysis. We don't do marketing data, so we're always reliant on teams like yours, like agencies like yours, to provide us all that, to give back the insights to the owners, to the management, to C-suite. But I think overall it's just going to be an amazing thing moving forward. And I think the future is definitely bright for us to working together. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there. And when we come strong as the data team and the marketing agency at the same time, I think it's a win-win. I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think that should be very appealing to e-commerce brands out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to touch on what you said, yes, we will go as far as providing the marketing data and show you, look, Google Ads are generating these leads, but really we're dependent on the CRM and the data being accurately tracked on the client side as well. That's really your domain, where you handle that side of things, and you rely on us to pass the data through, the same way we rely on you or the customer's client sales team to be able to navigate that data and start to leverage it to their advantage. So it is a collaborative effort.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What do you think also from the side of, let's talk a little bit about tech, and that's maybe something, it wasn't a question in the questions that I sent over, but I'm very interested kind of to hear from your opinion. You're working with multiple tech. I'm sure you have access to multiple CRMs throughout all of your clients, multiple e-commerce sites and so on. What is the tech out there that is currently interesting to you, and what do you think is the best one there?
Are we talking specifically with regards to CRMs?
Let's talk CRM and let's talk e-commerce.
So e-commerce, I guess if we're staying kind of on theme with regards to tracking and attribution and things like that, there's a really big emphasis at the moment with regards to server-side tracking, as opposed to being reliant on tags installed on websites and things like that, because there can be more than one touch point. Unfortunately, it's not as black and white as like this lead was solely generated via Google Ads, this one came from organic. And if a client has maybe an SEO team, a PPC team, sometimes there can be conflict of, we generated these and no, we generated these leads. And really the team should be working in sync together to achieve the common goal. So I would say server-side tracking can help with that, because you can start to track customer journey and customer touch points. Maybe they initially came through, first click on a Google ad, and then came back a few days later and clicked on organic listing, in which sense, yes, the original lead came from Google Ads, but organic still paid part of the journey, or vice versa. Maybe they came through organically and then clicked on an ad, and then you start adding more channels to that, Meta, TikTok, email. You can collect all of these in to a tracking solution, maybe such as Triple Wow is quite popular, which do allow for server-side tracking and customer journeys and touch points. So I'd say that's one thing that's, I think all e-commerce businesses are kind of going in that direction. CRMs, I tend to let Joe handle that side of things, so I wouldn't be able to do that too much.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I think on the e-commerce side, there is a touch point that I'm still very interested. There are solutions out there, but we sometimes forget that e-commerce brands, in majority of cases, have a kind of omni-channel selling. And how do we track the touch points then on retail, on the physical presence? How do we push that data and then do accurate attributions according to that? There's also advertising still, on TV and various other like billboards and things like that. It is difficult to quantify those. You don't know, how many people have seen that billboard and then made them to go into an ad. So in reality, we would need that data, but very hard to quantify from that side. That's why I think there is a massive advantage in digital marketing, because you can really pinpoint and you can really dig deep into that data and find where did that person kind of come from. I think from our side, that's very important, because we always try to maximize the channels and give kind of, from the operational side of things, how do we maximize the net profit and, reducing the spend somewhere, but still getting the same output and so on. I think that's definitely a challenge that all of us are having from the operational, from sales, marketing side, everywhere. We always try to get the sales from the cheapest possible channel. That's how it goes. But that's just normal in business, how you're trying to optimize and maximize. Look, I appreciate that, all of those insights. I think just to kind of wrap it up, I have a couple of quick questions for you, which are maybe a little bit random. So the next one is, this can be from personal life, business, industry, whatever you want to talk about. So if you had a magic wand, what would you change?
Probably just some kind of direct API that seamlessly talks between Google Ads and the CRM. No need for intermediary apps, and just passes data to and from, so we can just see exactly what is coming as a result of Google Ads.
Okay. So you would buy into that type of a product, you said then?
I think so. I mean, there are tools available, but it would just be nice to just have CRMs and Google Ads just plug and play straight in.
Yeah, there we go. CRM developers listening to this, there is an idea for a new company. Cool. No, okay. Yeah. I'm also interested, right, in your time, this doesn't have to be only PDM. This can also be in your kind of, let's call it a previous life. The coolest project you ever worked on?
Coolest project would probably be, actually came through a referral from Rich Evans, who we both know. But we would probably be Cheese Geek. Quite a cool brand. They were featured on Dragon's Den. They were vested in by Stephen Bartlett. So that was pretty cool. Didn't get to meet Stephen, but it was still quite a cool niche brand. So yeah, that was probably one that stands out to me.
Yeah, there you go. But look, you never know. I mean, maybe you'll meet Stephen. Just to let you know, everybody, Theo also has a podcast. So maybe Stephen one day comes to Theo Clarke podcast. You never know. That would be quite a cool guest. Oh, cool. And then the last question to wrap up this partnership chat is, what's hot and what's not?
I mean, I think we kind of answered that at the start of this call, didn't we? Does anyone really dream of being an e-com? I don't know. We all ended up here. I'm not sure that there's anything particularly hot about it, but we're all here and we're all plugging away. So I don't know. I wouldn't be able to answer that one. I think e-com's hot, I guess, but it's not. It's one of them. I'll leave it to the audience to decide.
Okay. They will for sure then let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for your time. I enjoy this chat as always. I enjoy our chats. So yeah. There it is, Profit-Driven Marketing and Loncom Partnership Chat. And thank you everybody for listening. And of course, thank you Theo for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.